I just wonder if you have realised how extraordinarily we are designed as human beings by the Creator, how specific it all is in relationship to our wake-up process. We are just like, to have this body, to have this vehicle is a mind-blowing, auspicious opportunity. So I want to explain that the merit that you have generated, accumulated through all of your different lifetimes, by your good deeds, words, actions, mantras, offerings, selfless sacrifices, all of that chi becomes uniquely you and is stored in this plane of electric fire called the causal ocean, the plane of the soul. And in every lifetime, all of that energy comes back, sitting as your chakra body, your meridian system, your nadi system, and your minor chakras. And the whole of our Kundalini wake-up process, excuse me 1 second, is all about when we have, if you like, attained or earned the merit and done the purification process needed for that energy, that fire, that's potent life force energy that's coiled right at the base of your spine, to become unleashed naturally, as to come and purify and clear your karma and all the obscurations, everything that limits you from being present in this moment now, to be able to express your most authentic you. That basically our Kundalini is unfurled at the time where we have ripened and taken a conscious path of right action. So some people, a lot of people, are having Kundalini experiences right now. There's a massive awakening happening, and we are in this together because we are being overshadowed by the Christ, the Buddha. We are being activated to have a big, fast wake-up, right on time, just as we had come to the darkest hour, if you like, on the planet, in this time of what looks to be a crisis. So the Kundalini, when it's risen to the brow, is going to help us to stop projecting doom and gloom and buying into the reality of being in the density of the matrix, feeling like we're the victim and taking everything personally. When Kundalini rises to the brow center, it opens the single eye, the eye of revelation, to be able to witness the good, the true, and the beautiful, to be in revelation. That is the gift. And it's interesting because there are different stages of Kundalini, different stages to this wake up. So this video I'm making today is part of a 4-part series to really understand the nature of Kundalini, the nature of your own wake-up process. So let's start with understanding how Kundalini is literally, when it begins, going to work to align our chakras. But let's just talk about a bit more what Kundalini is. My understanding of Kundalini, and I'm speaking from my own experience, but also in the languaging of understanding ageless wisdom, solar philosophy, esoteric psychology, but definitely through self-realization I'm speaking this. So the beginning, Kundalini is the life force energy that's very much connected to Shakti coming from the center of the earth, the mother coming from the base to unify with the father at the crown. It's a strong, potent Shakti energy that we have to prepare our bodies, our vehicles, not just our physical body, all of our vehicles, to be able to take that voltage of electricity, that energy rising. Some people force Kundalini, they stimulate Kundalini and it rises before they are ready to experience that voltage, and that's dangerous basically. And I'm going to make one video just on the dangers and the way that people unleash the serpent before they can manage to what's the word I'm looking for, harness, or no, there's not actually, that's probably not the right way of saying it, because when this energy arises, there's not a harnessing, there's more of a getting out of the way. I was looking for the word temper. There does become a tempering, but that's at a later stage. So this potent electrical Shaktified life force energy of the mother being able to spiral herself up and through to meet the father, to come into this alchemical, unified transformation in yourself. So the purpose of Kundalini rising in your body is to burn away, it's a fire that's burning away limitation and density and ego, actually. The aspect where we think we're controlling the show, it's helping us to get out the way to the surrender of this exquisite, ultimate experience when it really has risen all the way to the crown, going right all the way up through the heart, gets to the point where every cell in your body is open to millions of cells of liquid bliss, orgasmic fire. Breathing into that. So let's look at the first stage of it though. People start to become aware of tingling in their hands, tingling in their feet, energy in their throat center, and definitely energy in the brow. It begins a little feeling of a transmission, something's coming, and what that something is the solar angel that's been presiding with you, walking with you from all of your lifetimes, from the beginning of time. Contacting you, saying this is the time, you need to get still, you need to start listening. And interestingly, around that time, the personality aspect of ourselves begins to realise that we are actually sick of the place where we're self-absorbed, where we are selfish, actually, where we're selfish and that we're looking to see what we can get rather than looking to see what can we give. So that's the very first stages of the purification process, which basically, for the life force energy to begin rising and for this beginning activation to happen, we have to get still enough to be able to hear our inner voice. So we begin a path of meditation. Now the interesting thing, and I am skipping over here, is that we have these attainments in our body through the merit from previous lives. So when Kundalini starts to rise, it's the beginning of what we would look at and call a recapitulation. Recapitulating the merit from the previous lives. So the whole of this Kundalini awakening is three different stages of initiation to begin with, so that you can be prepared to be able to receive this full fire, high voltage of the light of your soul in union with the solar angel, so that you can be in service to the divine plan and work in alignment with the Christ, the Buddha, the one energy that we are here to be in service to. And for those of you that are wondering, why do I say the Christ and the Buddha at the same time? I could be adding into that Krishna and Shiva. I'm talking about the masculine aspect of creation in its bringing of illumination of the plan, the divine plan. And within that, it's absolutely a marriage of the Great Mother with consciousness, with everything. The Great Mother is consciousness and everything. She's the one that births the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. So when Kundalini arises, the very first stage is coming into this still place where you can hear your mind. And your mind, of course, is consistently judging and putting ourselves down. Our minds, that is the first stage of wake up, is to really notice that we've all got this imprinted program where we're judging, being judged, judging others. And it's a trait that turns the throat chakra anti-clockwise, and then the throat chakra is pushing down on the sacral center. So what happens is, with the awakening, the energy is rising up this way to make its way to the crown, to the Father, whereas prior to awakening, our chakras are sucking in energy, sucking in light, the throat chakra is spiraling anti-clockwise, pressing down on the sacral center, which contains all of our creativity, instead of it being upward, is pushing down in desire, looking for satisfaction, wielding energy in a way to manipulate, to pull something towards itself. So the very first stage of wake up is called the wake up of the initiation of right relationship. So the Kundalini, the life force energy, has to go from the sacral center up to the throat center. And the throat center will then pour an arc of light down to the sacral, and that starts to come up as more vitality, more chi, more healing skills, more inspiration, more artistic ability. But it's only the very, very first stage of wake up, because it also, in that stage, has more intuitive perception that can often fall into a lower psychic, thinking it knows everything. I've been there, I'm afraid to say. You know, in my beginning of my wake up process like this was in the 90s, and, you know, thinking it knows. And it's not really actually the highest truth. So that's just the very first stage that I want to talk about today. And I look forward to sharing in the next stage. I'm going to talk about how Kundalini brings us into atonement, at one-ment, more about the purification, talking about the spine and the central channel and the Ida Pingala, and the nature of how that life force travels up through the spine, and what you might experience personally in yourself through this. Because a lot of people at the beginning of Kundalini, to be knocked out from the mental body so that the process can happen, are often find that they get all of a sudden in the middle of the day just really tired, that they've got to go and lie down, and then feel this quickening process. I used to call it a quickening in the 90s, but it's like your vibratory rate is being risen, and it's being risen because we are being literally overshadowed by the Christ. So I look really forward to explaining more about that. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate that you are waking up, because you wouldn't be tuning into this, and I look forward to being able to support you to have some understanding of the process that you're in. Aho.